up? This is Steph on the other side of the Rock Show. Our next guest is Danbert No Bacon. He's an author, musician, activist, and more. Thank you so much for coming by.
Yes, thanks for inviting me, Steph.
Of course.
Yeah.
So I had to say this, dude. You got knocked down, but you got up again. I saw that you unfortunately had a heart valve transplant. How did that happen, or how did you find out there was an issue?
So, long story short, uh, I I was born with it, and when I was skiing about 15 years ago, I broke my leg, and as a result of that, the nurse said, "Oh, you've got a heart murmur." And when I got it checked out, I had this valve, a bicuspid valve, and they said, at some point it'll wear out, and that's what happened last year. So I had to have it replaced. They did a
Did you do
fantastic job.
the pig valve thing that they can
No,
grow?
no, it's bovine, so it's from a cow, I guess.
Yeah, no,
So
that's fascinating to me that they're
yeah,
growing them in cows and pigs. So
they
you have a
both
piece of
are,
a cow inside of you?
yeah. So yeah, it's wild. The science is wild. I mean, I don't know that much about it, but and it's kind of routine. But it's a whole team of people, and you kind of 6 month recovery period and everything. So you got to take a chunk out and just relax for a while. But I feel so much better now.
Good. I'm happy for you. And because you're No Bacon's your last name, you couldn't use the pig valve. You had to
Well,
go with the
they
cow
didn't,
valve.
they
That
didn't
makes
offer me a pig. They knew.
yeah,
They knew.
they knew.
Yeah, they played the song apparently in the surgery.
They did
While
when you're knocked out.
yeah,
Sorry, that's maybe not funny, but that's my kind of humor. So
no,
you're under anesthesia and they're playing
yeah,
I Get Knocked Down, but I Get Up Again while they're doing that guy's heart. Okay.
yeah,
That's cool. That's a claim to fame for the
yeah,
doctor. Okay,
yeah.
so I saw the new single even has heart artwork when push comes to shove, and you're in Washington now. How did you go over and jump over the pond from England to Washington, and what's going on? I say you're even at farmers markets. You're heavily involved in music, so
Yeah. So my former wife, we have twins. She went to Olympia, Evergreen College in Olympia, which is produces a lot of artists and musicians. She's from Delaware, Laura, but a lot of Evergreen people move out to Twisp area and become organic farmers and fish biologists and one thing and another. So she knew people here, so that's how we. And we're both still here. We're both still friends and everything. So
that's good. You did get your vibe. I'm friends with both my ex-husbands. I say I'm looking for a third ex-husband. That's what
yeah,
I'm in the market right now. How many times have you been married?
just the once. Yeah.
Mm, keep going. Don't stop. They're
No,
fun.
okay. No, I don't
Yeah.
want to stop. Yeah.
And you can perform at your own wedding. Okay. I have to ask you because it was I put my hotline up and one of the questions that came in from Mark said, would you choose between a whiskey drink, a vodka drink, a lager drink, or a cider drink?
I don't really like whiskey or vodka. I don't mind a little bit of gin, but I'd probably go for the lager or the cider even. But none of them really. I'd probably choose an IPA.
None of them. Then why didn't you guys say an IPA? What was that?
I
Who
don't
wrote
think
most of
we
the
knew
lyrics?
about them back then.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It wasn't a thing. Now it's like hipster breweries. It's cool to
Yeah,
bring your dogs and
yeah,
kids
it's
and kind of hang out. So no whiskey and vodka for you. Okay. And then who decided? So I ran out to buy your guys' album. I think I was in high school. Yeah, in the late 90s. And I just remember it standing out against all the other albums in Tower Record Store. It was just this bright green background with a really creepy kid with a big smile. Who
yeah.
decided that was going to be the cover?
So Dunstan Chumbawamba, I think they did all our album covers. They were just into graphic design. So we, they came up with it. I think we had to pay some money. The original, they put the big smile on the baby, the manic smile, and we had to pay some money for the original baby photo. And for some reason, the American record company, they wanted it small. On the British one, it fills the cover. And the
Oh,
American one, it's a bit smaller. I can't remember why that was.
It's
I don't
creepy?
think
I
they
didn't know.
liked it. Yeah, they thought it was creepy, so they didn't like it. But I don't know why making it smaller made it any less creepy. But
It still stood out, and I just thought it was
yeah,
really unique, and then I listened to the album, and I was like, "Oh, you guys go from punk to pop to" I mean, and now you've got a couple jazz sounding songs. You're really versatile when it
yeah,
comes to
and I think it's
music.
just there were 8 of us, and we all had different influences. And as we grew and evolved, we just incorporated more of what we like to listen to. So and it kind of went through the melting pot of Chumbawamba, if you
Yeah.
like.
Did you hear about Oasis is getting back together?
I saw that. Yeah, I just saw the headline. I didn't read it, but yeah.
Yeah. Do you think Chumbawamba's next? Are you guys gonna all get back together?
I doubt it. The last time we played was in 2012, which was the 30th anniversary of the first show.
No, you guys are
Yeah,
not
so
that
it's
old.
like
That's not
40 something years now, but yeah, crazy.
anyone else get new organs and bits and pieces put them, or you're the only member?
I think I'm the only member. Other members have had health issues, but yeah. I mean,
That's
we're
when you know
that
the
old.
band is that good, when there's
Yeah.
health issues on the rise. You guys have been around for a second. Okay, and then what is tub thumping? Like, what? I don't understand.
So in England, in London, historically, there's Hyde Park. There's a place called Speaker's Corner, and still today, people get up on a soapbox without a microphone and speak, and it's just a tradition. And before electricity, that's how politicians or anybody spoke. If you were trying to do public speaking, and the tub it's like a soapbox. You stand on a crate just so you're a bit elevated,
Okay.
and that's called tub thumping. You're trying to rouse the crowd up.
And well, that song does rouse the crowd up. I just saw on TV last night, there's a new movie coming out, and your song was used in the background.
Yeah, it still keeps going. It's amazing, really.
That's a phenomenal, dude. Go you. Like,
Yeah,
it's just
yeah,
like I
yeah.
don't even remember the name of the movie that was on the commercial, but I heard the
No,
song and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so stoked. I get to have Danbert on tomorrow." And I don't know, man. And I thought you guys would be in England. I didn't think you guys would be in America.
well, I'm the only one who lives in America.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
yeah, Buff's married to an American, but they live in England. Uh, but we used to come here a lot, so play and tour and everything. So
I love London. I always fall in love when I go there. There's always some
yeah,
hot English guy that it's just I want to take him back in my luggage, but I don't.
yeah.
Um, so speaking of, political talk and tub thumping, so you say you're like a mischievous, political gremlin kind of thing. Like, what does that mean? What does
It
that mean
just
to you?
means that I I write songs and I perform, and I can't not comment on what's going on in some
Yeah.
way, and I try to make it humorous. It not
Yeah.
always work out that way, but I try to have a sense of humor about it. Just because things in the world are, in a lot of ways, are not going good. And if you have children and you worry about the future, kind of thing. So I just try.
100%.
Yeah, I just try and throw my opinion in somehow. And it doesn't always go down well, but that's the nature of it. And I think that comes from, punk rock still. It's that original spirit. Even if the music's changed, I still have some of that original energy, I think, that trying to make the world a bit better in a small way, if at all possible. But yeah.
You're still punk. I like it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, no, I just made a joke about I don't know if you hear JD Vance likes humping couches. So I just made
Oh
a
yeah,
joke video about like arousing my couch. And
yeah,
it's a dark place, right? Like there's some weird shit going on. And so I too
yeah,
kind of like to just make satire and funny videos that where somebody hopefully laughs and then
yeah,
moves on with it. I don't take myself obviously too seriously, but I
yeah.
like listening to other podcasters that take themselves very seriously. And that's how I
Yeah,
gather
yeah,
my
yeah.
information. But have you ever gotten in trouble for vocalizing your opinions or
Uh, I mean, Chumbawamba did a little bit. Only, it was like the record company or whatever. They'd be just so overcautious about what we did, but it's like, we were on David Letterman and we changed the lyrics and that
I
caused a
saw that.
stir.
I saw that. Yeah.
Or
And so
we
you guys got slapped on the wrist after that?
kind of, yeah, and they don't invite you back. So we burnt our bridges very quickly in the absolute mainstream. Uh, and like Alice was on Politically Incorrect, and she upset those guys because there'd been an interview where Alice had said in the press, and they picked up on it. If you don't have money, we don't actually mind if you shoplift the record, and it could, Virgin Records like went ballistic. So they're all
Yeah.
like, usually like four guys and Bill Maher on Politically Incorrect, all having a go at Alice because of this quote. But she holds herself very well. So, uh,
Yeah. I
just things
that
like that.
it is a joke, and you're like, well, you just want to have access to the music. And look, now at this day and age, you just for free on YouTube listen to music, and
Yeah,
like, a
everybody
lot of people,
shoplifted.
right? Exactly. We're all technically shoplifting. If you didn't have LimeWire back in the '90s, you kind of are now. But and I think it's more about playing live and trying to sell merchandise is where funds are coming in than just album sales.
Yeah,
Like it is cool. I still want to buy the big giant album and put it on a record player. I like the
yeah,
vibes of
me
that.
too. I mean, I come from that time, but
I don't. I've just banged enough people from that time that I got into record players to have them over to my house. That's how I
yeah,
sneak them in.
yeah.
Um, okay, and then I was listening to The Axis of Descent, trying to force myself not to be in love with you. Oh, I loved that line. And then So Hot It Hurts. I like the jazz vibes. I do a lot of
Oh
jazz,
yeah,
modern
yeah,
interpretive dance
yeah,
routines, and like that's a song I could take to the gym and totally choreograph to.
yeah,
What
yeah.
have you always had that kind of vibe in you, or have you kind of changed throughout the years?
I think I maybe grew into it from punk, but I mean, before punk, like all of it, I used to, I studied children's play in college, and I, when I had to do projects with children, they were often musical things, getting, like sixth graders, and I do it here at the local high school once a year.
You're
Uh,
allowed to be around
right,
kids? That's
yeah,
okay? Yeah? They
yeah.
let you on?
Writing song, just basic punk songwriting.
Yeah. I gotta be
And,
within
and they,
100
they
yards.
really, the young kids really jumped to it, and because we're kind of taught, and I was, I think, until punk rock came along, that we don't, you have to be a genius to write a song, and it's not true. I don't think.
No, you
I
definitely
mean,
don't have to be a genius to start a podcast. I know this
no,
for
no,
myself.
and that was the whole essence of punk rock. You can just learn a few chords and write some words on a piece of bus ticket or whatever, and make a
Yeah.
song. Uh, So, and then, but like fifth and sixth graders, they have a whole musical, uh, because everywhere we go, we hear music, whether it's in a movie or in a restaurant, or if you actually listen to it. So they know, I'll play like minor chords, and I'll say, "Oh, what do you think this sounds like?" And they go, "Oh, it sounds a bit sad." Or you play some upbeat thing, and they get it. They just know that, and nobody's taught them. It's just they've picked it up from culture. So I think I have a lot of influences that predate punk. Whatever my mum and dad were listening to in the 1970s, and there's certain songs, whatever genre, that just stand out, or you just get them in your head. So I think maybe the jazz, if uh, I mean that, I, I'm impressed that you call it jazz. I just think it's,
To me,
but
it's got a jazz vibe. I would do
yeah,
jazz
yeah.
dance to it.
I'd never thought of it in that way, but I see what you mean. But yeah, I like that kind of vibe, so if I can incorporate that in a song.
Because you just said '70s and you're from England, you sparked like one of my favorite artists, David Bowie. What do you think
Oh
of
yeah.
Bowie?
It's funny, when I was growing up, all the girls loved him. So I was kind of
Mhm.
just like devil's advocate, saying, "Oh, he can't really sing that well." But as I've grown older, I really kind of appreciate, what he does. And where I record, I have hearing aids, from too many years of live music. But the engineer Mel, who I work with, and she basically produces my record. She's a genius. I was doing some harmonies, which I never did with Chumbawamba, because we had 4 or 5 great singers, so I was never in the front of the queue for that. And she's going, "Oh, he sounds a bit like David Bowie," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I can," you
Oh,
know.
that's cool. That's a
Yeah,
compliment.
it really is, yeah. But yeah, I mean, over the years, I've kind of gone back, and yeah, I mean, he was a total genius, I think, and just all his whole presentation of everything.
Yeah, to recreate
How
yourself
to
over and
expand.
over and change,
Yeah.
the sound and the look, and did you see the movie Labyrinth and his gray sweatpants that he wore?
No, I didn't see it.
You've
No.
got to see that movie from the '80s by Jim
Oh,
Henson.
that Labyrinth. Yeah. No, it's funny. I don't know if I have seen it, but
You
people
gotta
around
rewatch
here
it.
love it. So we were
Yeah.
doing this like theater thing, and they wanted me to be in a skit, and I think it was from Labyrinth, because there's a scene where he's there, and there's like these little gremlins in
Yeah.
dustbins, in trash cans. Anyway, I was one of the gremlins in a trash can.
You didn't get to be David Bowie, the main
No,
character.
no.
You would be in a trash can? I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if I would take that job. I also dude, I read that you have the book Three Dead Princes. Like, what that you
Yeah.
write plays and books. What was that fantasy? That was
Yeah, it's kind of
your
like young
thing?
adult. So I have a friend who's a publisher, and she said, "Oh, do you want to write a book?" And I said, "I'll have a go." And I wrote a couple of chapters, and she loved it. She said, "Carry on." And my children, my I have twins, and they're 24, a boy and a girl, and I don't know how old they were, but I was reading to them, like Harry Potter and a lot of stuff, and so all that was kind of in my mind, I guess, at that time. I think they were like 10, maybe, when I wrote that. Yeah, 9 and 10. Uh, and and yeah, and like I wrote it and we edited it and everything, and then somebody said, the publishing industry said, "Oh, it's a young adult novel because if the protagonist is between 13 and 18, that makes it a young adult novel," which I didn't really know at the time, but it kind of made
Oh,
sense. And
okay.
she's 13, the girl in the story, but
Because she could be in puberty and, like,
yeah,
available. So you gotta make them 12 and under to be children's books? Okay, good to
I,
know.
I guess, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay. Alright, can we do fun question time?
Yes,
Okay, I love this. This is one of my favorites. Do you have any hidden talents?
hidden talents. Well, my dad was always well, he was an engineer, and then he got made redundant, and he went back into construction, which he'd done as a younger man. So when me and my brothers were small, he built an add-on to the house, and we helped him like mix cement and plaster. And then I learned how to plaster and lay
Wow.
bricks. Not so much woodwork. I can, because everything in the US is wood, And
Yeah.
I worked in the theatre program at the high school here, and I ended up. I did directing as well, but I ended up supervising building the sets, which was all wood. Uh, but I loved it. There's a creative element, and the students have these ideas, and it's my job to try and translate that into a real thing we can build. And they help. I have a small team who help and build. And so maybe that's my hidden talent. I don't know.
Danny
Backstage
boy
at
can
the
do
theatre.
construction. That's pretty
Yeah,
cool. You
yeah,
can fall back on we wouldn't know that. Okay,
yeah.
what motivates you?
Uh, I've always liked to read and listen to music and watch movies. So I see things in pop culture and the subgenres of pop culture, or people who write about politics. Uh, just certain things will inspire me, and I think I'm lucky in a way that I have more time to do that. The one song, there's 10 people get royalties from that song, and it's like 27 years ago, and we still get money. Like you said, you saw it in a movie.
That is
And,
phenomenal. Like, that's
and
cool.
I live pretty cheap, and
Me too. I'm low budget.
yeah. So, but I just have that luxury where I don't have to go out 40 hours a week. I can
I
do
can't
little
do that.
things.
I
Yeah,
have to do stuff for fun that I'm passionate about. I'm such an artsy person. If it's
yeah,
not a creative outlet, I can't get, like, a real job. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. I think I've always been like that, really, and I've had to do it occasionally, but it's always been part-time, and I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
yeah, like, I serve wine, like, once a week because I like to talk shit to people and drink, and so that's just, like, a fun, you know. I gotta
Yeah.
play your song in the winery, by the way, this Sunday. That'll be fun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah, I work at the local cinema here a couple of nights a week, and we have a bar, so I work behind the bar. Same thing, people come and you chat and
Yeah,
talk about
that's not
movies.
work to me. It's like it's
No,
enjoyment.
it's yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
do you have any pets?
Well, my daughter moved in to live with me when I was having my surgery last year, and she's still here,
Oh,
and
that's so sweet.
we acquired a cat, and she's 24. I gave her the job of naming the cat, and she still hasn't named the cat.
It's just cat, kitty, kitty, come here.
Yeah.
Is that
We were watching the Olympics, and Snoop Dogg was at the Olympics every day, and I'm like, "Oh, we gotta call it Snoop Cat," but she didn't buy
yeah.
it.
Did you see the guy that didn't qualify in the Olympics because his dick hit the bar?
Oh, yeah, I did, yeah.
He got disqualified in France,
Yeah,
but now he's got a $250,000 offer to do porn. So, I mean,
yeah.
go
Oh, I didn't
him.
know that. Yeah,
Oh, that was the best part of the Olympics. That was the only
yeah,
highlight that I watched.
yeah.
Okay. Oh, this next question. Have you ever been knocked down? Like, literally.
Uh, yeah, by a
You pissed
car
someone
one
off?
time.
Oh, shit.
I used to do a lot of running, and interesting because I'm feeling so much better, I just started running a little bit again, which is cool. It's beautiful out here to run. And it was when I lived in England, and it was kind of rush hour and dark, and I was just going, I'll just go for a quick run. And, you cross the junction, and this car came and whacked me in I mean, I only fell over, and I got
Holy
up,
fuck. No,
I got
did the
up and
driver get
ran
out
home.
and know who you were? And, like, you
I
just
mean,
literally
praise to the guy, he slammed his brakes on, so it could have been a lot worse because it was my fault. And I've
thank
broke my
God
leg.
you're okay.
I mean, the skiing incident. I I followed my son into the half pipe, thinking, "Oh, I'll just go down the middle," and I flew out the other side, and
Dude, I did this snowboarding. I thought in
yeah,
14 I'll follow my older guy friends that were really cool in the half pipe, and I broke my leg snowboarding, and I was challenged. I don't know what I'm doing. I
yeah,
just started snowboarding, so it happens.
yeah.
I can't believe someone ran you over, dude, that's nuts. Um, okay. Oh, if you had 1 hour to spend with someone dead or alive, who would it be?
Oh my goodness. That is a tough one. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know? You've
No.
got your kids, you're good. You've got your cat, you don't need
Yeah,
anyone.
yeah. I mean, it probably someone like Kurt Vonnegut, maybe. I don't know if you
Yeah.
remember. He was an author. I did see him. He came to England in the 80s and gave like a talk, and they showed a film based on one of his books. An
Yeah.
author who just a really clever, funny author.
That would be
So
me.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. If you were to create a TED Talk, what would it be about?
A TED Talk. Well,
Mhm.
funnily, somebody was trying to do it here, and they asked me to do it, and then it all fell apart. So I actually wrote the outline,
Ah,
and it was about children's play, just the importance of children's play, and how that's how we all learn pretty much everything we need to know. And you watch a kid, and they just spend hours every day just crafting on something, and it's all over the map, but uh, it it's very underestimated and undervalued, I think. We push
oh,
kids
yeah.
around and put them in school and force them to sit down for 6 hours a day, and they don't wanna be
Not
sat
my jam.
down. Yeah.
No.
So
My
so
kids are
it
playing instruments, and they jump around like wild monkeys and go nuts,
yeah,
and I want them to create a band. That's the goal. So I'm like,
yeah,
"Keep up those instruments. I wanna be the band manager one day."
yeah, cool.
That's so we'll see, fingers
Yeah.
crossed. Okay, so tell us, Danbert, how do we find your new music or projects or things coming up for you right now?
So I have a website, danbertnobacon.com, and that has all the links on it. If you just wanna go to the music, there's a Bandcamp page, same thing, Dan But No Bacon. -axis. I had to do that. It's funny, some of the platforms, I change the name of the band occasionally, or Spotify drives me mad because I've got like the 3 different pages where there's albums, and I can't amalgamate them together because it's either I use a capital letter instead of a small letter, and the algorithm thinks it's a different band.
We gotta get your 24-year-old daughter on it then. She's gotta
I
help
know.
you
Yeah,
figure this
yeah,
out. I asked my older son to help me figure things out because this podcast is new. And I'm like, how do I do TikTok? How do I even post, or what are these hashtags? I'm still trying to figure out what the kids are doing
oh yeah,
nowadays.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
I don't know. But I'm figuring I get to talk to cool people like you. So I got that part figured out.
yeah,
But
you do.
dude, thank you so much for taking time out of your day and stopping by Stef's Rock Show. And we look forward to keeping up with you. And if you come to Sacramento, we definitely got to see you live.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah, thanks, Steph. I appreciate it.
All right, bye.
Bye.